The big theme of the second session of Identity is rescue. And we want people to go away knowing very clearly that Jesus is the unique rescuer, the unique saviour that every single one of us needs. Now, the whole thing about being rescued from any danger is that in order for us to appreciate the rescue, in order for us to want to be rescued, we need to know that we are in danger. And so in this session of Identity, we do spend a lot of time trying to convince people that we are in danger and need to be rescued. And the reason we do this is because if your experience is anything like mine, I meet loads of people who, although they would say that they're not perfect, they're not the lowest of the low, but they're generally quite good people, and therefore they don't really see any danger that they're in, and therefore they don't think they need to be rescued by Jesus. So in this session of Identity, we try and persuade people that we are all in need of rescue, and that Jesus is our unique rescuer. Now, how do we do it? Well, there are two things that come up in this session. First of all, I say that the standards that we normally use to call each other good are often far too low, and God's standards are much, much higher. We've got to get the standards right, otherwise, although we might meet our own standards, they'll be far too low. Now, the other thing I do is I talk about the vertical and the horizontal relationships. And what I mean by that is often when people talk about goodness, we focus on the horizontal relationships. How do I treat other people? And we forget the vertical relationship, that is, how do we treat God? And I think it's only when we grasp that vertical nature of the relationship, the way we treat God, will we really understand the great danger that we're in and why we need rescued by Jesus. Now, in terms of how Jesus rescues us, in this session we talk about Jesus as the Passover lamb. And what we stress is that he is the substitute, the one who died in the place of rebels so that they would not have to suffer because Jesus suffered the judgment that they deserved. Now, we do stress that this is not automatic, and to benefit from the rescue, we need to become personal followers of Jesus. In terms of tips for this session of Identity, I guess I would stress that it is not about being good enough to be accepted by God. It seems to be hardwired into us that we have to be good enough to get to heaven. But Jesus says it's whoever believes in him who will not be condemned. I love those two words, whoever. That is, it's open to anyone, regardless of culture, country, background. It doesn't matter, whoever. And it's whoever believes, whoever puts their active trust in Jesus, who will not be condemned. It's not about your performance or anything like that. It's about personal trust in Jesus. And that is what I would stress in this week of Identity.